Hey there, hey, this is Michelle with Brilliant Quest. And I want to talk with you about something that you might not be aware of, but there's a high likelihood that you're enslaved. Let's just be honest. All right. And what do I mean by that? I mean that history might not repeat itself, but it has echoes. Mhm. Now, let me tell you a little story. Just bear with me a minute because I'm gonna eventually get to the point. All right. And the reason why I'm telling you this is a wake up call. This is a warning. This is a reason why I am so about that mental sharpness life, because in today's world, they're so slick that they have you enslaved and you don't even know that you are walking around without any freedom. And this is not me railing against the powers that be. This is about me talking about the spirit of the times. There's nothing new under the sun. We have cycles. And back in Kemet, Egypt, on through Greece and Rome, on through all of the major powers of the world, even through the time of the Russians and the Prussians, even on down to now, there has been a constant that at sometimes it was powerfully promoted and people were aware of it. And at other times it was kept in the shadows and only the elite knew it. And I am talking about the 4 stations of power over the people. Now, of course, I've done some other videos about types of power and the kinds of power that are better than a good credit report. But today I want to talk to you about how to break out of the chains of the public. Okay. So these 4 stations of power are so powerful that you've been taught them through games and never knew it. If you've ever looked at a deck of playing cards, there are what we call 4 suits in the cards. Now stick with me, I'm going to bring this through. And what do you have? I'm just talking about your regular, playing cards. So you have spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts, right? Okay. You think that's just, a game. No, it was a device to teach illiterate plebeians, the public, the serfs, the enslaved, the masses, how to understand the powers of the 4 stations of the elites. And you had, like I said, spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts. If you take it back even further, through Saudi Arabia, who they said they got it from Kemet, you'll have the tarot cards. And they are not demonic. So these people out here talking about, I'm scared of tarot cards. Quit showing the public your ignorance. Keep it to yourself. In there, they did that before. And I hate to say it, but the tarot are the educated parents of the playing cards, because the tarot had an additional major suit where they had the 22 stations of life. They took, and so it was a 72 card deck, and they took that out and brought it down to 78. And they brought it down to 52 because they said they dumb. They can't get them 22 stations and they don't need to know that. They'll give them too much power. So they took that out. But the tarot, same thing, of teaching the masses the 4 stations of the elite of power. And so even in those, and they're what they would call the minor suits or the minor arcana, they had swords, which were spades, wands, which are clubs. Think about a wand or a shovel, a wand, clubs, diamonds, which are the money. That's the coins or pinnacles, and then hearts, which are emotions or cups, to hold the emotions. Okay. And so over and over again, like I said, history might not repeat, but it echoes. And so continuously, they're always trying to show you who are the elites and who are the enslaved. So if we look at the plebeians, which are the public, they are not in this part. They are also where they cull and pull the enslaved, the indentured servants, the serfs. They are the people where, if you were in medieval times, they were the people that would work the lands of the lords, the barons, the margraves, the monarchs, the kings, the dukes. And those people didn't have rights. They thought they did. Okay, they had a right. They had a right. If they weren't indentured, they had a right to pay taxes so that the elites could go about their living and doing, because they had the power over the people. Well, wouldn't you know, today it's the same. So let's bring this over a little more contemporarily. During the outbreaks of communism and all of that, there was a reason for that. And this is me giving just brief histories. So I'm going to gloss over a lot, and I might not give you the context and the nuance because for time, but I'm going to simply say, when you looked at your Marxism, when you looked at your communism and your socialism, a lot of it was born out of getting tired of, you guessed it, those 4 stations, but they never go away. And so, you started to see where they started trying to make everybody even. But we know that does not work, because there are certain things that are temporary and there are certain things that just are. And these 4 stations just are. And in the time of our new enlightenment, starting around the latter part of the 50s into the 60s and onward, because now we are in the time of truth and mind and thinking. We still have these 4 stations. So these stations, traditionally and now, whether you realize it or not, they had what is called the military. They have the merchants. They have the clergy. And they had the politicians, excuse me. Okay, so, well, actually, wait a minute. Let me see here. I want to make sure that I'm telling you, because I might, okay, there were 2 different systems. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you the ones we have now. How about I do that? So you have the military part, you had the merchants, you have the politicians and clergy, and then you had the merchants. Okay, so you could always tell which ones were which by understanding spades, clubs, diamonds, and hearts. Okay, so your spades. Think about a spade. A spade is a sword. It's a pointy object. It's all of that. But the spades are the military. The spades are the thinkers, the intelligent. And so in recent times, the spades, the military, which they lumped everything into because it used to be the most powerful were the military and the clergy. The military became the intelligentsia. And the intelligentsia are the thinkers. They are the intelligent ones. That is why if, like, during medieval times, no, I'll even do the the Enlightenment times, like Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes was a thinker, but he was commissioned into the military. And he didn't have to really do much. He played at being a soldier, but he got paid. And the reason why they always made sure that Rene Descartes got paid is because he got paid to think. Because thinkers were the people who kept the power moving and in check and benefiting the powers that be. You know, so it was kind of like the thinkers made sure that the 4 top were taken care of, and then everybody else got the rest. And that's why a lot of times you're enslaved and don't even realize that they are giving you the crumbs. And so with this swords, military, intelligentsia, you're going to have government, you're going to have politicians, you're going to have military, you're going to have think tanks, you're going to have space stations and all of this kind of stuff. All right. So those are the thinkers, the military. Those are the ones who are sharp and keen on their understanding of how to keep stuff going. Okay. And it's funny because after them, you have the, after the military, you have the merchants, and the merchants are going to be your coins, your pinnacles, and they are going to be the ones that are all about merchandising. They're all about capitalism, making money, economies, and that kind of thing. And they cross over with wands, because wands are going to be the movers and shakers. They're going to be the magic makers, just like Harry Potter's wand. They're the people who are the front-facing leaders. Whereas, you know, your military and government, they don't necessarily let you know who they are if they're the ones real in power. But your wands are going to be your spokespeople. They're going to be the people who are able to translate what is going on between the powers of the mind, which were, you know, the military, the government, the politicians, and what's going on with the merchants, the commerce, the economy. And so you have your wands, because your wands actually means spirit and movement. So they're your charismatic ones. They're your stars. They're your celebrities. They're the people who influence you and get you to do what you need to do. Okay, so let me recap these first 3 because I want to make sure that I create the striations between them that I need to. So playing cards, spades. That's military, government, politicians. Those are the thinkers. Those are the people who their power is, it's what you consider power. It's the push. It's the movement. Then you have the merchants, which are the pinnacles or coins, or if you are looking at the 4 contemporary suits of our playing cards, those are the diamonds. Those are the people who make the money, who keep the commerce moving. That's capitalism. That's Wall Street. That's stock market, Forex. That's all of those type of people. They are the merchants, the coins, the pinnacles, the diamonds. Then you have the wands, and the wands are going to be your front facing. Those are your influencers. Those are the people who are your stars and celebrities. They're the ones who are talking to you and saying, watch the birdie. So that the politicians and the merchants can do what they need to do. So they are the ones who are there to keep you entertained and keep you from killing the elite. Okay. And they are very good at translating what all three of the other factions, because I haven't gotten to the last one, but they are really good at translating what the other factions are doing. Okay. A lot of times they're going to be entertainers and comedians as well. All right. So they're entertainers. They are, spokespeople. They translate. I talked about this in some of the skills to pay the bills. I'll put that video for you to go here. And I talk about high impact integrators. That's what these people are. Okay, so they are able to integrate with the thinking minds and the powers of money are doing the industries of titans, and they dabble it out to the plebeians, so the masses won't get alarmed and the masses will be able to behave. You actually know the wands, these people, because they are going to be your talking heads on your podcasts, on your news channels, those types of people. Okay. Then the last one that I haven't covered yet, those are going to be, if you're looking at the card deck, those are going to be the hearts. And in tarot, they were known as the cups. And that's all about the emotions. So that's going to be your clergy, your spiritual leaders. And the funny part about this is if you were to rank them, it would be neck and neck between spades and hearts, not in the playing cards, because they always wanted you to think that the clergy were heart. They cared about you. But the clergy are about that power too. Think about it. Even if you're not talking about the universal church, which is the Catholic Church, even if you're just talking about a corner church or a street church, what are the churches that you find in the plaza? Those types of churches. Think about it. Think about their power. When they come in, they institute a 10% minimum of a tithe. So you come to that church, you pay your tithe. Then on top of that, you have offerings, you have first fruits. And so you got anniversaries and gifts and all this kind of stuff. And you could take a person who is quote unquote part of the clergy, put them in a church that has 1,000 members. And if each member, the 1,000 members brings in $3,000 a month, that's $3,000 by 1,000. Do you see the power that just that little small church will have? Now, of course, they got to pay bills and stuff, but that is very powerful. And that's just quick math in today's world with a small little corner church, right? Okay, now we do know that organized religion is waning right now because we've moved into the age of Aquarius and it's about thought, unlike Pisces, which was about religion. But still, you will never get away from the hearts because they may not be religious clergy, but they are spiritual leaders. And spiritual leaders can be both wands and hearts. Think about Tony Robbins. His legacy is going, to be impactful in how many people he's touched to motivate them. But he almost has this preacher's kind of appeal to him, where people just, a pastoral kind of presence to him. And so that's very impactful. So the spiritual were needed so that they could instill what was moral. In the olden days, you would have judges, and you would have judges that came from, remember I told you the two most powerful are going to be the military government, politicians, and the clergy, is because you would have secular judges from the swords or the spades division, and you would have moral judges from the hearts or the cups division, which was clergy or which was spiritual leaders. And they would get together to make the rules of governance. Now, there is a difference. And if you've noticed, I have not talked about rulers. I have not talked about monarchies, because rulers and monarchies really only got there and stayed there because they made sure that they had members of their family in each one of these four. Just go and look at the Medicis from Italy. The Medicis had popes. The Medicis had bankers. The Medicis had politicians. And the Medicis had spokespeople. And when I say spokespeople, what they did is they spent a lot on the arts to leave gifts for their different respective cities. And they were patrons to a lot of stars, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and all the others, because they understood the four stations of the elite. So now that I have given you all of that about the elites, let's get back to why you are a slave, why you are enslaved. And the reason why you are quote unquote enslaved and don't know it is because you were kept in the dark about these four stations. And one of the things that you have to your advantage now is technology and AI. One of the fastest movements into the elite that a lot of people are doing is by using AI to leverage the amount that they can do with their time. And they are entering into the elite by doing it out of 3 of the 4. I'm talking about the average person. And the 3 of the 4 they are becoming wands, influencers. They are getting on social media and becoming influencers and gaining power that way. 2, they are getting into it through clergy by becoming spiritual leaders and helping people to decipher and make more of their lives now by tapping into ancient wisdoms that were outside of the organized religion format. So now you have the advent of people talking about not only your go-tos where you're thinking about manifestation. No, I'm talking about people who have near-death experiences, people who are into working with the elements, which are, the wizard crafts of witchcraft. Witchcraft has gotten a bad rap, but you'll see that it's going to start to come back around to the wholesomeness that it can be. Of course, they got all branches. So anyway, and then you have, and I'm still talking about the spiritual leaders. And then you have the people who are bringing to the forefront the returning to reading the stars, the astrology, and as well as one of my homes. I'll tell you, I am a numerologist. I am all about number energy. And that is becoming something that people are getting interested in. And it's all through technology, like your YouTubes, through AI, like being able to put together different ideas to come up with new ways of helping people to understand the ancient and everlasting truths. All right. So you've got influencers. Those are the ones. Those are your clubs. You got your clergy, your spiritual people who are the hearts and the cups. And then you got your merchants. Oh my gosh. You got your tech bros, you got your drop shippers, you got your people who are doing Amazon, you got your people who are doing courses and affiliate marketing and all of the different things. And they are having major come ups. And guess what? There is, because of technology, the old gatekeeping of, oh, you had to be born into this type of family, or you have to have this pedigree, or if you're new money, we look down on you. They don't give a fly and flip. And because you've got these people moving into these 4 stations, whether they know what those stations are and whether they know that these stations will always be, inherently, the average person knows, I don't want to be in the public. That's why you work so hard, because you might not be able to, well, now you will be able to spout them out because Big Sis Michelle has told you. But you knew it wasn't a good thing to be in the public. And do you know why you don't want to be in the public? Do you know why you are possibly enslaved? It's because the public is the experiment. The public is the plaything. The public is the GI, general issue. It belongs to the country. It belongs, and when I say it, I'm talking about the publians, the public. It belongs. Do you know that the way a country gets credited, gets its credit rating and so many different things is based on how much its plebeians can work, how much its plebeians can produce. Think about gross domestic product. Think about all of those economies. Think about why governments want you to have more kids. Think about all of the different little political snags and things where you think it's about my body. Yeah, it might be, but it's about the money. It's about keeping their power too. So let's not be fooled. And I'm not going to go on a rant today. Oh no, I'm not. But what I am going to say is to get the cuffs off of you, you need to figure out where you fit in one of these. Now, you notice I didn't say the first one, spades. And the reason why is because that's a hard one to stomach if you're just naturally inclined to go that way. Because first of all, you either have to be this massively brilliant thinker who is smart, not just intelligent, but who is smart to avoid having to be the military arm, the force of it. Because the military is not just our militaries, it's the police. It's the people who have to do the stuff where you're interacting with the public to keep them in line with the governance. And so that area, it has power, but power is not equally served in that realm because they have such a wide range of people. And so you can have people who are in there where they'll pay them just enough to keep them above the plebeians, but not enough to get that real power. And so that's why I did not include that one. Lawyers, it used to be where if you could be a lawyer, which is a high thinker, of argument and logic and stuff, you can make a lot of money. But because we have a gluttony of lawyers, only the cream rises to the top. And if you're trying to make that move and you're not the cream, and if luck doesn't hit you, you come off as looking like an ambulance chaser. And there are a lot of people who are not faring as well as lawyers, and trying to be in that part of the elite system. And so they're having to pivot as well. But I want to impress on you, if I can't leave you with anything else, as I am going to be letting you go real soon. Thank you for listening. In order to not be a plebeian, to not be experimented on, it must first mean that you proactively take the plunge to train yourself to pick out which one of the 4 stations that you're going to put your hat in. Then you're going to have to be consistent. You can't give up. You can't waver because that makes you public. That makes you just average. Napoleon Bonaparte, they didn't like that man because he was telling the truth. He would say things like, he would say this. He was like, religion is what the elites use to keep the masses from killing them. Mhm. He also said, along those same lines, he says, give me a priest. A priest can do the work of 10,000 soldiers on the minds of the many. Oh, he understood some things. That's why I like that course Can Upstart, because he was telling it. That's why a lot of times, even when he got exiled, a lot of people like, we want Napoleon, we don't want you. All right. But like I said, that's another story for another time. But please understand that you are the one being experimented on. The clergy does a mind game on people. Let's just be honest. And when I say clergy, forgive me, some of the clergy. There are a lot of people who are altruistically motivated, but there are some clergy that will keep you under these tight controls and rules so that you don't get out of line. And I've talked about learned helplessness in another video that you can check out here. And what I want you to know is you, for the first time in many years, you now have the keys to unlock the chains that you have been under. And it comes by you taking the initiative, by doing brilliant quests like this, like learning about this kind of stuff and then putting it into action so that you can take yourself out of the muck, so that you no longer become a part of the crowd who is irrational, who does things that they would never do individualistically. A big part of the elite is realizing the power of your individualism to express your power the way you want and need to express your power. And so what I want you to do is I want you to watch this next video, and I want you to learn more about power and how to use it, which ones to avoid, so that you don't continue to unknowingly put yourself in the public where you just become a plaything of the elite. So guess what? Yeah, my time is up. I thank you for yours. This is Michelle, your big sis with Brilliant Quest. And don't say I never told you nothing. You got the elite, and you can get into it and stop being enslaved. All right. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Now go watch that other video.